Hi guys. Okay, so I want to talk about childhood wounds. This one's going to be a part one to attachments and wounds, and also it's going to leak into how we have friendships and relationships after that. I'm just going to explain them in compartments instead of having like one 40-minute video, because it's really annoying when someone makes a long video and you only want bits and pieces. You don't want all of it, right? I understand that. Okay, so wounds, rejection, the first one. Easily makes assumptions about others and things. It's due to being rejected constantly, being bullied, assuming the worst possibly, overthinking a lot, being worried about weary, I don't know how to say it, I don't know speak, you guys, about letting people in, really cautious. It's because in the past, family members, school peers, cousins as a child, even teenagehood, they let these people in and they betrayed them. Or their intuition just knows they betrayed them in some way and they ended up closing off, right? And there's difficulty compromising, like doesn't want to see the other side of things. This wound almost has like a, I wrote it down here, it almost has like a premeditated resentment to it. Does that make sense? Like they're expecting the worst, they overthink it, and they have difficulty compromising about their feelings, and they get easily triggered about things. Like we'll get more into it after. This can be people pleaser, but with intention. They might expect you to do for them as they do for you, and if it's rejected, it's a trigger for them, and they will blame other people. Like I know that I have had a lot of these traits, and I still kind of act them out, but not out loud anymore. I am slowly getting to the point where I can reflect, and I also have actually, well, I'll. Do I want to do it in this video? Yeah, we'll do it in this video. Okay, so I have there's like ways to build boundaries with yourself and others that I'm going to talk about, and what triggers, how trauma shows up, and how to calm yourself down when you notice you're acting one of these out, okay? This video is for full-on self-accountability. We're not going to talk about anything that happened in the childhood until we talk about the attachment styles in the next video, okay? This is not structured. I'm not a professional teacher. These are things that I just love to read about and learn, and things I've learned about in hypnotherapy and all that, okay? All right, so with the rejection wound, doesn't trust intuition, doesn't trust people, doesn't trust words. If actions, even one little thing doesn't line up, they're gone, or they're upset, either one. This can be a really manipulative energy too, because of moving with intention to receive, if that makes sense. Like always subconsciously looking for comfort. Is that making sense? I hope so. These all, I'm going to tell you right now, they all kind of mesh together, but people seem to understand when you're really specific, they can relate to that. So some of these symptoms might sound repetitive, but they are different categories, and I just want everyone to individually recognize what they have, okay? Yeah, and you'll understand. You'll get it. So abandonment wound. Up and down in choices, like abandonment but wanting it, like that's a big one. Like say there's this really good relationship, this person, they're just so calm and like chill, it feels weird, boring, no chaos, no, but I want that, you know, like can't make a solid decision. A lot of these wounds will build up resentment from other people if they have more of a secure attachment and you're well alive in one of these, okay? Don't feel guilt about it. It's not meant for you. These situations come around so you can heal, okay? It's all self-reflection. So, inability to form healthy relationships. Because of this reason, fearing being left is a hard one to heal from. How do you see clearly? How do you trust? How do you know this person's telling you the truth, right? I want to use my mic. I don't know. I didn't record it in this video, but it's like lately, every time I try and record a video, there's some kind of memory issue. There's some kind of mic issue. I've had to cleanse my energy so much because I keep dreaming about people interfering with my phone and my mic. I know it sounds weird. Might just be manifesting subconscious fear, who knows? But I just wanted to let you guys know why I wasn't active yesterday. Yeah, I'll make a video about like my experiences recently and what I'm learning from them, okay? Ooh, intermissions like left and right. Anyway, okay. So low self-esteem and feelings of self-worth. Like this is what abandonment initially comes from. Like having someone not validate, having someone just not give a fuck. Like needs weren't met and now it's really insecure. If needs were met, it was criticism. Does this make sense? That's why these people have a hard time getting close and opening up, because as soon as they open up, are they going to shit on me? Are they going to talk shit about me? Really harsh, critical traumas built this one, okay? There's anxiety and insecurity, well lived in. Like well lived in anxiety. It's always chaos in the heart, mind, and spirit, okay? And it's hard to feel secure in any kind of relationship in this state. Prone to depression too. This is codependent energy, attracting unavailable people. Codependent meaning like at first they seem chill, at first they seem calm, yes, everything's good. All of a sudden you get kind of close with them and their triggers, their alarms go off because someone's close to them, and then the person that was chill, cool with it all, they're actually avoidant and they see this and they run. There's no comfort and further injuring the abandonment wound, okay? So next is betrayal trauma. Broken trust, suspicious, very suspicious. This one, I feel like it goes along with another trauma that I wrote down, but I don't have it written here. It's like they almost look for things to not trust about people. Like they're waiting for something, they're ready, you know, they're prepared. Trouble recognizing, expressing, and managing emotions. This goes for everyone. This goes for all of these wounds, but really big trouble. Like if someone tries to tell them about this because they were gaslit, like these energies were gaslit. That's really what I should have wrote down. They don't trust what someone says and they don't trust themselves. So it's constantly like back and forth. Like, and you know, a lot of these wounds, they will reflect later when they're by themselves, but the shame of having this, the shame of embodying this that society has placed on us, it's hard to have that conversation with people. It's almost like abandoning yourself and others continuously, right? There's so much trauma in this world, it's crazy. So anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. This one, I feel like everyone has these and it's an accumulation of all of the wounds. So I'm not going to dig any further into that one. I just realized like, you know, but betrayal, I wrote that one down in regards to trust wound and neglect wound. We also have father wound and mother wound here that we're going to talk about in a bit. Okay, so, and you know, these energies, they betray themselves. They make promises, they do all these things for other people, and then it never follows through, or the person on that end, they never reciprocate anything. They never do their part because this is a people pleaser. This is a huge people pleaser. Physical pain, stomach distress, regular nightmares, doesn't feel safe, panic attacks. This one is just like, it could lead from like emotional, physical, sexual abuse in youth and teenagehood, okay? Also, we can develop all these wounds by having a relationship with the wrong people. Not saying these people are evil or bad, but just with the wrong people. Like the people that we should have learned lessons from, but instead we were just learning how to be with, you know? Does that make sense? Like we should have taken lessons from these people and backed away and walked away, but instead we just learned how to be with them. Gaslit ourselves, they gaslit us, and we just accommodated because everyone's used to being in chaos and turmoil lately. Okay, injustice trauma. Chronic chest pain, back pain, always feeling fatigued or drained, it's because this person might have been a huge giver, or just had things always done to them and they never stood up for themselves. No regard for self, okay? That's why there's chronic chest pain and back pain. The heart betrayed in the back, no grounding, okay? I hope this is making sense. I'm gonna try and go in depth as possible. All right, unpredictable and irrational emotions. Injustice, like when no one's listening or something just isn't going the way you wanted and you should be in control of the situation. In your head you say this, right? Just explode. No, up, totally up and down. No, it's irrational, it doesn't make sense, but in their head it makes sense, you know? And they're so far deep in. How do you get out of that? How do you rationalize? How do you talk about this, you know? There's so much to it, but this one, I feel like it can lead to some really big psychological issues, because it along goes with it is disorganization and short attention span. Like this, I feel like manifests from some form of narcissism, gaslighting, master manipulating, okay? Injustice, trauma, it makes sense. There's injustice in that situation. Nobody believes them. Nobody understands, okay? How do you get people to see you when they don't see what's happening behind closed doors? Does that make sense? And honestly, going from like a narcissistic parent household or guardian place, you know, anywhere just has like neurotic people around, they could manifest more relationships like this. I know growing up around narcissism, I manifested manipulators like up the hoo-ha. And this was a big one for me. I was irrational. I was unpredictable. And I'm gonna say right here, like, this could have really bad coping mechanisms. A lot of these can, but a lot of people will try and stay sober. This one, just no thinking, and the coping mechanisms are strong here because no one believes them anyway. They're crazy, right? So isolating, cutting self off from resources, because there is a sense of betrayal here. There's injustice. No one believes them. Why would they even waste their energy or their time? And what comes with this is always being fatigued or drained. It's from always giving to other people who you didn't want to give to, who had no right even taking, but they did it anyway. This is injustice, okay? This is like, I feel like that's not a trauma that people talk about a lot, so I thought maybe I would like throw in all the dirty, nitty-gritty details of these, okay? Okay, guilt wound. This one could manifest into that good girl, good guy with a little bit of manipulation in there. This is another one where it's similar to injustice, trauma, being raised by manipulators or mothers and fathers who continuously made them meet their needs and never really fully met theirs. Made it seem like it to the outside world, super loving, caring, family trips, but emotionally, get away from me. You're being irrational. I don't want to talk to you. So now they're like, they're good girl, really level-headed, but then triggered, you know? Okay, so let's talk about it. Continuously saying sorry, feels guilty for maybe expressing themselves at any point, maybe even just knocking over a cup of water accidentally due to the anxiety that is shaking inside of them, you know? Doesn't ask for needs to be met, wants to meet others' needs though, very giving, and can use guilt or like some kind of tactic to get what they want or need. Like, I'll tell you an experience just to show you the guilt wound. Okay, so they can never be full frontal. They always have a way to do things. This one girl, she had to work the next morning and I didn't know, but she kept asking me, what are you doing? You should sleep over tonight and watch a movie. And I was really tired. It was 10 at night. I didn't really want to. I wanted to go home and sleep in my own bed. And when I got there the next morning, she wakes up. She's like, oh, I have to like work at 11. Do you think you could give me a ride? I'll get us coffees. And it was like, you do this every time. It's so annoying. Like, guilt wound will build resentment towards this person around the people surrounding them, because they can never be confrontational, they can never just be direct. They carry guilt because there was someone who gave them injustice and didn't ever let them openly express themselves. So good girl but manipulator, good guy but manipulative. Okay, it doesn't set boundaries, over giving, and disrespects themselves in that manner. This is what the guilt wound is, okay guys? Normally attracts manipulators and users and will victimize self, not realizing that that they kind of mirror this person. Does that make sense? Like the people around them might even start to talk about them a little bit because they're starting to see the way this person operates. This is a huge wound that people make fun of. This is a pretty severe, deep one, okay? Yeah, like no needs are met, and they will manipulate people to get their needs met. They act like the sweet good girl or good guy who helps everyone. So, and it's almost like creepy nice. Like they'll go over the steps they have to. No, let me pay for it. No, let me pay for it. And then they'll go complain about it, you know? Or else they'll come over and just like clean and hang out and do all this stuff. And then they'll go and they'll hang out with their friends and they'll be like, yeah, all I did was clean their house and take care of their kid. But this person was like offering to do this. Does this make sense? Guilt wound manifests into being kind of gossipy, manipulative almost, and nobody's aware of this. Nobody actually knows these are wounds. People just think these last two ones I talked about are two-faced, and when you're gaslit and really screwed in the head because of really untrustworthy energies that you grew up around, it's hard to see clearly, okay? Those are some really big ones I wanted to talk about. Okay, trust wound, neglect wound. These kind of mesh with the other ones, but I have some really specific things in there, okay? So if it sounds like I'm repeating myself, sorry. I just really want people to be able to identify where these traits, habits, and thought processes come from, okay? So trust wound. Sorry, this stuff's yummy. It's next to rejection and betrayal, I think. And other ones, of course. Afraid to be hurt, finds ways to not trust before they get hurt, or finds ways to get hurt. Does this make sense? Like these wounds that we're so used to living within them that we create them. And it's really hard to break out of this habit because everyone just gossips about pain and doesn't help each other, okay? And you know, I will say within that, if people try to help, defense wounds, triggers, no, get away from me, don't want to talk to you about it. My life is none of your business, and they'll feel judged, okay? They'll feel really judged if you try and confront them. Okay, so I'm sorry if you hear my nephew yelling, like he's really unaware that he's so loud. Okay, so I'm just trying to open up the notes here. I just don't know which one I'm gonna do next. Oh yes, okay, so how trauma will show up. Okay, neglect wound, next to rejection, abandonment, injustice, guilt, all of them, you know. So, oh no, sorry, we're talking about trust wound stuff. So doesn't trust self and depends on others for foresight, always seeking answers within signs, or always discussing about seeing signs, and something about this is they might accidentally offload emotional dumping a lot because they don't trust themselves, and this is their way of getting comfort and seeking maybe outsider advice. And that's going to be a third video to this one, emotional dumping versus constructive venting, okay? So attracts untrustworthy people. Like with this one, they might, if there's a tinge of friendliness or just like good friend energy, these people might overdump their personal life like way too early. And they attract untrustworthy people, further breaking their trust. These people are usually like manipulators of some sort who have their own wound and think that they're protecting themselves by talking about someone else. Does that make sense? The trust wound manifests someone who's really not trustworthy and is a manipulator, because it's something we're supposed to heal from and we need to recognize the signs, okay? So, yeah, they'll attract untrustworthy people and it further deepens the wound. It's really hard to get out of these cycles. We just keep on injuring ourselves over and over and over. And then the next is neglect wound. Okay. Struggles to let things go because of the neglect. How do you let things go when you want it answered now and know we're all old enough to answer these questions or sort out a problem together, right? Even though if you were to try and like solve this problem with someone who has a neglect wound, it would like not even get solved because they gaslight themselves so much because of the neglect, you know, can't see straight and just wants to stay in that cycle subconsciously. Struggles let things go. Gets angry easy, repressed emotions. This is because neglect. Gets angry easy and might hold it in, and of course another form of gossip because they think they're being neglected in some way by someone very important. Okay, yeah. Easily triggered this one too. Fears being vulnerable because of neglect. Might look like they want to be vulnerable, but really fears it. Like, oh fuck, do I need to talk about this? And they'll just find ways around it. They'll neglect their own emotions, especially if they're negative. They will neglect themselves completely. And they will attract people who don't appreciate or see them or make them feel seen, and further injuring themselves. Does this make sense? Okay, so next let's talk about father wounds. This could be from uncle figures, father figures, anything like that. So father, not supportive, not loving, and this makes one uncomfortable with their emotions or wounds. No validation. Yeah. So attempts to mold, shape the child, making the child overly defensive about mistakes. Like if you try and address someone who is a father who just tried to shape them, mold them, and criticize them a lot, they will become defensive as fuck about you saying anything about them doing. Like say a relationship, you have a boyfriend who just, or a girlfriend who just constantly is like, well, it's horrible that I'm not perfect. I can't do anything right for you. This is one of those, okay? The man up shaming method from the father, desire to be seen as strong and not weak. But really, these men, like, they really want to cry and be held. That's something that's really contradicting there, because someone told them, your emotions, chill out, little one, you're 3 years old, why are you crying, you know? Didn't have their needs met. So, not approving, subconscious yearning for father's approval will also look for approval in other men. It's almost like weird, like you think they might be attracted to these men that they're trying to get approval from, like really close and bragging, big ego, like always bragging about their nice truck and stuff. You know, just really wants approval from someone who has that masculine figure. And this might attract women who are overly dominating and very minimizing. Does that make sense? Like that big dick energy girl, these guys with father wounds will attract someone who's very controlling like that. Okay, so only around for ups, father wound, a people pleaser. Nope, we cannot be disappointing in any way, otherwise we're going to scare them off. Even though these people are probably like pretty okay with them having some faults and being vulnerable, still people pleaser. Will go out of their way, especially for people who are condescending. And yeah, it's weird. This is why sometimes if you're in a relationship with someone who has one of these wounds with the father wound, like woman or man, they will end up like attracting some kind of narcissistic energy who wants their money, who likes that they give overly an over amount, and they are really jealous. They attracted this person, and they might be cheating on you or even leave you for this person because they like that domineering energy. Do you know what I mean? I hope this is helping some people really like wake up to what's going on. So intrusive father, no boundaries, repressed anger. That's what I'm talking about with the neglect wound here. Oh, is it here? Yeah. So gets angry easy because this person was intrusive. It's like they grew up with a father figure that was intrusive, walked into the door while they were like, I don't know, getting changed, and it's like, what the fuck? And you couldn't say anything because this person, what's your problem? Why? This is my house, you know, stuff like that. And then they had to shut the hell up and just hold it in, and they walked around angry for the rest of the day. It's like their privacy was always invaded, okay? This could also go with like some kind of abuse, okay? Secret abuse, all right? Be careful with that. So not predictable and hostile father figure. Attracted to chaos, runs, Attracted to chaos, but when the chaos happens, they either thrive in it and they run from the calm things in life, you know, like someone who wants emotional validation, vulnerability, they're going to run from that person. They're going to run to the person who causes them a little bit of chaos and drama, okay? And if they can't handle it, they'll run away, ghost. But because it's possibly a trauma bond with this situation, they'll continuously go over and over that cycle, if that makes sense. Sorry, my music stopped. I need music. We all know this. Okay. So absent father, difficulty developing connection and has a huge abandonment wound, neglect wound, all of that. This could lead into an overbearing mother, almost someone who really needed them. So then they kind of, yeah, we'll get into the mother wounds down here. But just difficulty developing connection. If someone gets too close, even though they really want to be close to that person, gone. They hold me accountable. I've never been held accountable. Gone. You know? Okay, so I hope that was enough for the father wound. Let's talk about the mother wound now. Excuse me. It could be mother figures, anything of the sort. Sisters, you know. Excuse me. Critical, equaling, low self-esteem, and negative self-talk. Really insecure. The mother could have continuously said, oh, you're not smart enough to do that. Give me that. Give me that. Bring it over here. Stuff like that, right? Or, girl expresses really beautiful taste in clothing. Something I hate about this is my daughter's experiencing right now with the grandmother, and this is going to be triggering for me. You're going to see my face get hot possibly. I'm sorry to make it personal, but you know me, these are my videos. So this one really digs deep for me. You might get a little bit triggered hearing some of this stuff and get a little annoyed, but I'm going to go into detail because I'm going to use stories as examples, because we don't always realize we have a mother wound. Usually mothers are the saviors, you know? Not being critical of them, just being super honest, super honest. A lot of mother wounds exist in this world. We don't even know it. Okay, so critical, low self-worth, like, okay, so say a child loves their style. The mother, what the fuck is that? What are you wearing? What are you wearing? Go change, go change. Stuff like that. What do you have on your face? Like, and they're just wearing lip gloss. That's showing our children they are ugly for having eccentric taste. If we really don't want children to have a negative self-image, be like, hey, let's go fix it. Let's pick a different color. Do you want me to help you? Look, at this one might wash you out. It makes you look a little bit white here. You're really beautiful, and I bet you we could find a better color, okay? Especially if it's a teenager. Be helpful. Don't be critical, okay? Physically, emotionally abusive. Not a lot of people know that mothers can be sexually abusive too, and neglect emotionally. Just because they're the mother, they're automatically seen as needs met and not perverted. I know a few mothers who have touched their children and like got away with it. Sorry, but this is something that's big. So difficulty to understand and display emotions, like really blocks off, gets anxious when someone gets close to them. And you know, a lot of people who have this don't remember they were sexually abused by a mother figure, okay? Not to say it's just the mother who does this. It could be an aunt, it could be a cousin, something, right? Okay, so I should put a trigger warning there, I'm sorry. Codependent mother, like always needing something or pushing the boundaries for the child, even though the child should be a child, or teenager doesn't have to worship mother, right? Weak, this equals weak boundaries and can't say no to people. And it's also building resentment towards others because of this. Might feel taken advantage of, okay? Pretty often manifesting being taken advantage of, actually. Not approving mother figure, constant fear of judgment. It's like, you know, if you have a mom where you went and did something or made a mistake and you're shaking because you have to go tell them, this is a huge mother wound, okay? And if the mother actually does get mad, like that is just furthermore the worst. I know a lot of people who are scared to tell their mom things, and it's like, whoa, that's dangerous. Me, I used to be a little bit scared of my mom, but we healed our wounds together, and now I can be really open and honest with her. Before, it'd be like we both just triggered each other a lot. It takes a lot to heal wounds with mothers and fathers. It takes many, many years, guys. Don't feel bad if you can't heal them. I'm gonna eventually get to that, okay? Okay. So controlling. This can lead to rebellious or unwise choices. Always doing silly things, maybe drinking too much, maybe going out and smoking weed. Controlling will attract opposite. It's going to attract a rebellious spirit, okay? And that's why some people get confused, like, that was such a good family household, but the parent was unbelievably sorry about my nephew. He has so much fun when he plays games. Unbelievably controlling and abusive with the control, like no independent freedom to think for self. It can really manifest into ruining someone's life, right? So intrusive mother, difficulty expressing emotions because they weren't allowed to. The mother intrusive, opening the door. What are you doing? No, don't do that. Like, you know, just too much, right? Pessimistic views on life as a mother figure, self-sabotaging, self-betrayal. So growing up hearing a mother continuously bash other people or be negative or laugh at people in public, it's like now we have the fear of how this person closest to us sees others. Now we're going to be insecure when we go out in public, right? We're going to be, and it could also lead to not being social. It could lead to us being pessimistic ourselves, but thinking we're a positive person, thinking we're like a realist of some sort. Oh, I always do that when I get texts. Sorry, something's ready to pick up. I'm so excited. Okay, so the basics of this can turn people into gossipy energies, not even realizing it, thinking the criticism is normal because of maybe a gossipy mother or father, right? Critical. Shaming other people's connections, making fun of them, talking about other people's relationships continuously, but never reflecting on self. That's what these wounds can manifest to. And that's another form of denying one's reality because they don't know how to work on their own. They were just shown how to work on other people, okay? Too much pain to face reality. Always worst case scenario, like thinking the worst, accumulating the worst, manifesting the worst. Obsessive overthinking. This comes with a lot of them, especially if there's a wound where you were constantly taught or had to self-heal, constantly overthinking every single situation possible. Sabotaging, procrastination, indecisiveness, all of this stuff can lead to, all these wounds can lead to these sabotaging self and others, relationships, jobs, everything. Procrastination just doesn't feel motivation because the spirit was ripped out of them very early. Does that make sense? And then indecisiveness because we were told, nope, that's wrong, but we wanted to do it. Nope, that's stupid, but it felt right. Or else we just had no one around to help us make really good decisions. So very, like, it's really hard. Okay, so now I want to talk about how traumas can show up. So substance abuses, promiscuity, shame, continuing dysfunctional patterns, doing it to our children, thinking it's normal, like spanking kids, that's so not normal. You're just placing freaking trauma on their bodies and it's so not normal. Violating their security, right? Unhealthy relationships, self-sabotaging, as I said, incarceration, trouble with the law quite often, speeding tickets up the hole, you know what I mean? Getting too drunk and ending up in the drunk tank, stuff like this is really a big thing. I need to be really deep in the details with you guys because not a lot of people know this stuff. And if they do, it doesn't make sense. Like, why is this happening? I had such a rough childhood. Why is life rough now? It's because we are acting out what happened to us, okay? So health issues, emotional health issues, I mean, like anxiety, despair, suicidal, mental health issues, can't think straight, carrying the weight of our childhood and others still in the head, and we're given pills, we're told we're a problem, but we didn't have the proper parenting, that's all it was, okay? And the parents probably blame the child, and they've never seen that their pessimistic, controlling, abrasive, and neglectful ways have things to do with it. It's not to say go blame the parent. They were treated the exact same way, and I bet you anything, some of them are treated worse. They just don't talk about it, okay? Because it's normalized. And disordered eating. So you could get an eating disorder if you have a really critical mother too, or a father always making comments about your weight. You could have binging, bulimia, and, anorexia, stuff like that. Okay, let's see what else do I want to talk about here. So what triggered me? It could be like I felt misunderstood. I'm going to give you all of these examples just to help you show what your triggers might be. So I felt misunderstood. I felt unsafe. I feel like these are just things I'm going to use from my point of view. Actually, no, we'll do yours. You felt misunderstood. You felt unsafe. You felt like you were disappointed. Wait, I said that wrong. I should have wrote these different. You felt like they were disappointed in you, okay? And that could manifest into repressed anger being released, okay? Betrayal of someone else's image of you. That you felt lied to, you felt ignored, you felt judged, you felt blamed, you felt dismissed, not heard. But really, we might be gaslighting ourselves to think a situation is bigger than it is, and these people just love us and they're fine. And they don't understand. Does this make sense? Okay, so felt like you couldn't speak up, you felt unloved, you felt powerless, you felt lonely, you felt controlled, you felt helpless, you felt unheard, felt lack of affection, felt like you couldn't be yourself, or someone wouldn't let you be yourself without criticizing you. Either one, okay? You felt trapped, you felt manipulated, you felt abandoned, you felt deceived, you felt embarrassed, you felt overwhelmed, you felt stuck, any of these things. So the next one, so this one, these are like kind of a self-soothing situation that I kind of thought would be good. Holy moly, we're at 36 minutes. No, I'm so glad I'm making this 3 parts. Okay, so when you feel like anxiety, like about your abandonment, neglect, or anything, and you feel a self-sabotage rising, like you're overthinking, you're getting angry, you're steaming, you want to say something, especially if someone's silent or like, you know, there's a difference between someone gaslighting you, ghosting you, and someone just being busy. So listen here. So just tell yourself they're busy and not everyone has time to reply every second of the day. Second, they did not leave and they will tell you if they want to leave. Okay? And space is necessary. Some people who don't have these wounds or have a lesser level, space is necessary. For me, the more I heal, the more I need time away from people. Like I have friends get mad at me when I just don't have the energy to listen to them, and they tell me I'm not a good friend. It's really frustrating. And it's like, I understand you really feel not heard, but it's just hurtful to tell your friends and family that they're like selfish for not being there for you. So be careful with that. Don't snap on people. Give them a minute. And this goes along with emotional dumping and venting. That's going to be the 3rd video, okay guys? Okay, so they do not always respond. They don't always have to respond. Some, like me, I know as the more I heal, I'm going to say this again, I don't really want to respond to people. I love everyone so much. There's no hate in my body, but I just don't want to respond to people. And I bet sometimes you guys feel that way, okay? Sometimes you guys feel like I don't owe them an answer, but then you kind of flip out when someone does it to you, right? This is gaslighting self and others. You also, if there wasn't an argument or anything, or if things seem chill, don't let your fear arise and tell you there's a problem. Don't listen to your thoughts. Your mind, your subconscious will talk a lot of shit about you that you heard in the past or felt from the past. It's coming forward for you to say, no, this person loves me. They hear me. I love them. I'm not going to start an argument unless they directly have an issue with me. You need to like reprogram your mind. Every time something comes up, just keep telling yourself, no, there's nothing wrong. It's okay to be alone for the day. It's okay that nobody really is responding. Everyone's busy. There's probably like a lot of work to do today, or they're out with their friends and family. Stop it. Stop hurting yourself, right? Okay. So if you can't afford therapy, because therapy is fucking expensive right now, and all these life coaches, they kind of just, they say the same things that YouTubers who talk about mental health talk about. And please, if you feel like life coaching, if you pay for a first session, just go to YouTube and search all of this stuff. Search the things you want to know, okay? I hate discouraging people from doing that, but if you can't afford it and you're going broke paying for someone to help you, that's not worth it. There's so much free advice out there. There's so many like memes or Instagram pages, like Holistic Healer, is it Holistic Healing on Instagram? I can't remember. I don't remember, but anyway, follow therapists on Instagram. As I said, read self-help books or just tidbits on Pinterest. Look up abandonment wounds and help yourself plant seeds, okay? Journal or engage with some type of self-reflection or self-study. Start journaling. Instead of talking about your pain with other people, start journaling. Like, I feel this way, and I think it's related to this as a child, or I feel this way and it's really pissing me off and I don't know how to deal with it right now. But the more you write, intuitive writing is really healing, okay? Practice mindfulness in some capacity. So we already said that, like, tell yourself to stop talking shit. Stop hurting yourself. Remember that these thoughts are not anyone else's. They're just yours, I promise. And you dealt with someone who made you, like, beat it in your head that these are your thoughts, okay? Remember that. Be mindful that not everyone is manipulative in the world, okay? So make sure if you're tired, rest. Stop fighting it. Stop fighting it. One day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna not need a nap. You're gonna want to go out in the sun and ride a bike or something. You want to go get ice cream, right? Summer's coming up. Seasonal depression is really hard. Make sure you're getting enough sunlight. Go sit by the window, open it up, and just chill with a blankie and some Netflix if that's what kind of day it is, okay? It says, like, I wrote down create a supportive network, but I think that's really hard to do in this day and age, because asking other people to be there for you when a lot of people after COVID have a lot of this similar situation coming up, like there's so many people computerized, blocked off from self that had to face themselves, and now it's like, woo, we're all healing right now. We're all healing, so be very careful. If, like, I'll make another video about it. Learn to set and maintain boundaries. Don't be scared to tell people that you can't do for them anymore because you can't even do for yourself. That's just flat up what you say. I can't do this for myself, so I don't think I can do it for you. Like, I feel like I need rest from this situation. Place boundaries and know that you're valid and you're not going to get in trouble. If this person gets mad at you for placing boundaries, that's not someone you should have in your life regardless, okay? So build trust with yourself by keeping your word to yourself. If you say you're going to do something, do it. And if you quit putting it off, and don't make promises to yourself if you feel like you're not in the place to do it. If you're too tired to get this place organized, seriously, just grab a bag, throw some garbage in there, take it up when you go outside, or else just like organize a couple books here and there, move your notebooks over, get them organized, stuff like that. Do one thing at a time. Don't set a goal and then upset yourself. You know what I mean? Take it easy. I'm doing the same thing. You need to practice more self-compassion too. Especially when you slip up and you feel like you had a freak out or you text someone and went crazy. Trust me, guys, I do this too. I sabotaged my last relationship because of this, and the only reason I'm sharing this stuff is because I literally sabotaged like probably a decent relationship with a guy. I was like being dishonest about having exes in my life still, and I really should have got rid of them because they weren't good and this person was good. And I also would like freak out on him a lot. Like, it was ridiculous. Sometimes people get busy, but this was a lesson. You are continuously given these people, these energies who are calm around you or have the opposite wound as you, so you can recognize the signs and heal from it. If these people leave because they can't go any further in this wound or lesson with you, that's fine. Just don't beat yourself up about it. Don't carry all that guilt. Don't blame yourself. Just know that they're probably going through the same thing, okay? If the moment ever comes and you guys can talk and sort it out, you're going to be in a better state, because look at you. You're so interested in healing and learning about yourself. You are the greatest thing in your life, okay? Of course, if you have children, animals, they're important too, but your mental health right now, it needs you, okay? I hope this helped you guys. I'll be back with another video. I don't know if it's going to be later tonight or tomorrow, and it's going to be about attachment styles, okay? And the type of parents who created them. All right, I know I said a lot in here, but I'm going to have like what type of parenting created that attachment. I love you guys. Bye.